the humankind is living in a very difficult situation. We have never thought that we will be witnesses of a war here in Europe. We have never thought that the different countries of the world would go through a very deep economic crisis. And we understand that the people of the world, if they want to live, they should find a common way of living. I think that the Communist Party of China, led by Secretary General Xi Jinping, invented the way which can really follow. And it is the way of a win-win cooperation in the world. If somebody would like to rule the world, it will lose. And now the people and the countries will live together, cooperate. They want to live in peace. We have a common future. We have a shared future. And I think that we can come to this shared future only in the case when we will cooperate, we will find the peaceful means of cooperation and coexistence. And the theory of the shared future for mankind invented by the Communist Party of China, the People's Republic of China, is the correct way to realize this aim. China has always been an important player of the international policy and international life. China now is the second largest economy in the world. But now China begins to play a more important role. China and the way of the Chinese life, the program and realization of socialism with Chinese characteristics is a civilizational challenge to all countries of the world. China is the only country among the developed countries which doesn't want other countries to follow their way. China proposes the way the Chinese people are living. But the Chinese leadership and the Communist Party of China have never demanded other countries to follow this way. China says that we don't want to take over the Western models, the models of other countries. We should live as we think correct and reasonable for our country. And that's why I think that the experience of China can mean a real possibility to realize the program of a shared future for the whole mankind. China could solve a lot of questions in a much more effective way than other countries in the world. If you take the problem of poverty, all the countries, all the people are facing this problem. But it was China to solve the problem of mass poverty in the recent decades. And it is not only as a consequence of the fact that China has a strong economy. It is a consequence of the fact that China is a socialist country, a country constructing socialism with Chinese characteristics. And that's why we think that China can play a leading role in the realization of a program of a shared future for the mankind. On the beginning of the 18th Congress of the Communist Party of China, a new period of the Chinese people has started. It is the period of modernization. It is the period of the reunification of the Chinese people. And it is the program supported by Comrade Xi Jinping, Secretary General of the party and leader of the People's Republic of China. It is the theory and practice of how to realize the program of socialism, Chinese characteristics, and how to realize the program of common living in the interest of a shared future. And that's why we think that program accepted by the 20th Congress, 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China has a very great importance for the future development of China and the mankind generally. Hungary is very far from China, but in the recent 20 years we can see that our people, the Hungarian and the Chinese people, are understanding each other better than earlier. I remember in 1989, 1990, when I visited for the first time China, that there have been a lot of misunderstanding, a lack of knowledge about each other. But due to the common efforts of the Chinese and the Hungarian government, the Chinese and the Hungarian peoples, I think that now we understand and know each other much better than earlier. A lot of Hungarian people decided to study Chinese language. And as we know, a lot of institutions and universities in China are dealing with Hungary. I remember my last visit before the COVID to Beijing, the largest bookshop in Beijing, and I could see a lot of Hungarian books in Chinese translation. Really, we have all the books of Xi Jinping, We have already got the fourth volume of this book, and as you could see that these books mean for us a real treasure, because these books continue the experience of the Communist Party of China and the Chinese state. And China has passed a very long way of historic development. The Communist Party of China has been established more than 100 years ago, and all of this experience we can see in these books. And we hope that the Hungarian public opinion will know these books. The Hungarian Workers' Party, our party, does its best to make short translations from the speeches of Xi Jinping, because we want the Hungarian people to understand and to know the real facts about China. Now we are working on the translation of the speech of Xi Jinping on the 20th National Congress of the Communist Party of China. The Hungarian and the Chinese people are different. We have different history, we have different traditions. If we really want to understand the secret of the economic successes of the contemporary China, we should understand the philosophy and the way of thinking of Chinese people. If somebody goes to China, can understand immediately that money is important, as in all other countries, but money is not the most important thing. Chinese people respect much more wisdom, knowledge, and I could see with my own eyes that the Chinese parents do their best to send their children to the best universities of China, because they know that the knowledge, the university diploma which they will get will open new possibilities, not only for their children but the whole family, and it will be a real contribution to the life of China. I think that we Hungarians should learn also how Chinese people respect older people. I think that the respect of elder generation is a very important element of the common understanding of different generation of a society. We should also learn a lot from the Chinese people, how they work, how they prepare to work, how they learn to work. And this love to work, this love to better accomplishment is a very important experience for us Hungarian people too. And if we want to be successful, we should follow a lot of experience the Chinese people have. The political line of the Communist Party of China is the key element to the success of the People's Republic of China. And if we want to understand the secret of the Chinese development, we shouldn't forget about the fact that China is a socialist country led by the Communist Party of China. And the fact that China is a socialist country allows the Chinese people to concentrate all their human, material efforts and resources to develop the country, to secure a better standard of living for the people. The political line of the Communist Party of China is based on the basic interest of the Chinese people. It is a policy in the interest and for the Chinese people. And it's a policy together with the Chinese people, that all questions are solved in the interest of the people themselves and together with the people. I think that it is also a very valuable experience which we should respect and we should know. The modern development of China should be studied also here in Hungary and Europe. The European countries, including Hungary, are facing a lot of problems connected with the economic crisis, problems with the social crisis, poverty, the migration, and including the problem of war. I think that if we want to solve here the problems in Europe, we should study the experience of China. It's very important that the economic policy of China is now concentrating on the internal resources of the country. Earlier, China depended to a great degree on foreign trade, on import from foreign countries and export to foreign countries. But now the main aim of the Chinese leadership is to meet the demands of the Chinese people, to rise the standard of living of the people, to give more to the people. I see that when during the national holiday of China, the Chinese people are traveling around the country, millions of people And it means that the internal tourism is developing very quickly in Hungary. It means that the business is also developing. The government and the Communist Party of China pay very great importance to a healthy development of the country and to a sustainable development of the Chinese economy. I visited for the first time China in 1990, and when I visited China at the time, the mass media and the newspapers and the television feed in Europe said that I am betraying the national interest of Hungary and we shouldn't have, must not have any contact with China. But after some days spent in China, I told the journalist that China is a very important country and we should see the resources of this country and we should develop our relations with China. And as you know, after my visit during the last 3 decades, a lot of leaders of the Hungarian government, the Hungarian political parties visited China, and they realized that yes, it is true. The People's Republic of China is a fact and very important factor of the international policy, and we should cooperate with this country. We should understand this country. During the first time, the Hungarian enterprises, the Hungarian businessmen, and even the politicians wanted to have only trade relations with China. They wanted to sell Hungarian production in China and to buy something on the Chinese market. But during the last 3 decades, people understood that we need something more. We should find a common way of living. We should build up a strategic cooperation. And now we are very happy to see that the economic relationship between Hungary and the People's Republic of China is a very mature one. Now we can speak about common mutual investments in China and in Hungary. We can speak about such great projects like the Belgrade-Budapest Railway, which is very important not only for these 2 countries but for the whole region. We can speak about the activity, financial activity of Bank of China, which plays a very important role in our development. China invests money in those infrastructure which are very important for Hungary and for the European countries as well. We are also happy to see that the Hungarian-Chinese cooperation means a part of the cooperation between China and the European Union. We think that the European Union should develop cooperation with China. This economic cooperation is based now on a rising mutual confidence between the government of Hungary and the People's Republic of China. And we hope that after solving the mutual problem of COVID, this high-level contacts between the 2 leaderships will be renewed.